I've heard some things about Will. And I've ran into a few people that either dated him or felt like he was just somewhat of an opportunist. My friend, the cheer community, said that she felt some kind of way about him. But to top it off, when their check came, he was like, let's go Dutch. And I was like, oh, okay. Then I had people, in my ears like, oh my God, he does not want that fish. Yeah, one of the homies from Cynthia's 50th birthday party said that he frequents predominantly gay bars. So I was like, wait, what? So he was like, yeah, he dates men. I was like, oh, he dates men. I was like, there's just no way. There's no way. Because he dated my homegirl. So I'm like, surely he's not dating men. So then I'm like, well, maybe he's bi. Or bi-curious.
What's up, my Vina loves? It's Miss Vina D coming to you all from Vina Entertainment News. Since we're on the topic of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, I guess I just go ahead and continue. There's a lot of material and things going on about them, so I'm just going to put them all out there today. So I just did a video on Kenya Moore and her husband and all of that, and Cynthia Bailey was included in that video. What you just saw was Shamia, of course. Bravo have this new thing where, the girls get to watch certain clips from the show and then have a rebuttal. So what Shamia just repeated is like, wow, I get it. You heard someone said your homegirl dated him. You guys had to split the bill, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But to question someone's sexuality without having concrete evidence, it's not cool. And you all know that I'm not biased. I rock with Kenya, I support Kenya, but I also call Kenya out on her stuff. Kenya did the same thing when she simply repeated. She's doing what Shamea did, but Shamea didn't do it on the show, right? She's doing it in this clip right here, which millions of people are not going to see, probably online, okay? People have seen it, like I did. But Kenya repeated that Kim feels husband and rumors going around. Kenya didn't say he was. She just repeated that there were talk going around. But now Kenya knows, because she's married, what it feels like to protect your family, protect your heart, protect those things that are important to you. Even though this relationship is new to Cynthia and all of that, Cynthia was crying out of embarrassment. She wasn't crying so much because, oh my God, I like this guy so much and all of that. She was crying out of embarrassment, like, dang, I understand we all need storylines. And when people say storylines, it doesn't mean fake automatically, no. Storyline is basically saying you have to bring material to the show. If you're not bringing nothing to the show, they have to let you go. Regardless whatever your purpose is, you have to bring something to the table. You just can't be there. You understand what I'm saying? Like, dang, I understand, Eva. You need something to enter the show with, and Nene just saying that she knows you, and you are her close girlfriend, and you were on America's Next Top Model, and all of that is not enough. You have to have something to hold on to, something to come in with. So I get it, but so that's why Cynthia was crying, like, dang, is having a storyline that important that you don't even care about somebody's feelings? And then Nene, I really thought that you were my friend. You couldn't pull me aside and have a private conversation. You had to embarrass me at an event in front of everybody. If I was Cynthia, I know I'm jumping around. I'm going to get back to Shamia in a few seconds, but let me just get my thought process, on Cynthia out. If I was Cynthia, I understand it's a show and Cynthia provided her authentic reaction, but if I was Cynthia, I would have just been like, this is not a time and a place for this. I'm on a date. Thank you guys for the information. However, I'm going to go back to enjoying my date. Thank you. Shut them down. Like, completely down. Go back to her date with Will. Have an amazing time. And then after that, have a conversation, a private conversation in the car with Will. But I understand Cynthia's learning. It was too many people pulling her all over the place and all of that. Exactly, you know what? When Kenya Moore, The same way how Kenya basically be like, yes, my husband's name is Baby. Next question. What's the girl says? Next caller. Anyways, I don't watch that show. I just see a lot of commotion going on online about, yeah. So anyways. But yeah, so I go to Will page and he posted these images watching the show. His facial expressions are just hilarious, like with his popcorn and laughing. All you can do is laugh. Of course, people are in his comment. You know, I'm not going to do the whole screen record for his comments because honestly, same old different day. Oh, I know Will for over 14 years. He's a great guy. And then the next comment is, you know, Cynthia, she dumped you, you're this, you're that. So I'm not even going to waste my time and do that. But Will is just like, you know what? I knew about this show. I knew what I was getting myself into. I wasn't sure. But hey, whatever. That's all you can do at this point is just laugh it off. Because now it's gone from he's handsome to he's a liar, he have a girlfriend, to now he's bisexual, visiting gay bars, to now he's gay. It's just like, my goodness, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, ladies, come on. I understand, you know, this was like after the show and Shamia didn't say it on the show, but sometimes before you speak, just people in general, try to woosah for a second, breathe, count to 10, and place yourself in that person's shoes. If they were to do it to you, if they were to try your significant other like that, how would you feel? How would you react? And then once you can answer that question, then go ahead and move forward. I understand those checks are major, man. And I get it, you would throw your friend on the bus and drive over that with the bus, okay? Portia. For a check. I get it. But dang, people really have to think before they just go out there slandering somebody. Just because somebody said and you did not see something, you can't just completely ignore someone's character, reputation, what they stand for, what they're doing in their life, and just go out there and just slander them. Yes, I understand. I'm not saying being gay is a bad thing and it's going to mess you up. No, I'm just saying you just can't just be playing with people's sexuality and just throwing things out there without knowing, just based off somebody else said. Like, are they ever going to learn? Isn't that what happened to Portia? Repeating what Phaedra said? Like, you can't just be that bold to just repeat what you heard, like, especially in the way that they did it. But I get it, guys. Oh my gosh, you guys take this show too seriously. This reality TV is not that serious. Oh yeah, it's serious when people start going through lawsuits. It's serious when people start going to jail. But you gotta be careful. But like I said, I'm gonna keep repeating this. This is why, and this is why Kenya Moore is like, nope, he's not coming. And if he comes, it's gonna be for one episode, and he's gonna dip 1 or 2 episodes, and it's over. But he's not coming. I'm going to broadcast him on Instagram on my page. I'm going to put up Instagram live here and there. But that's my man. That's my family. I'm going to protect him. And I don't blame the chick. He's not on the show, right? So they don't have an opportunity to do any nonsense. Imagine if he was on the show and some random woman who's just desperate for a check could come out of nowhere and said she dated him, or she went to his restaurant and they did A, B, and C. People lie. People would do anything for a check. They would do anything for 5 seconds of fame. And then a random woman can come out of nowhere and say, oh yeah, by the way, I dated him before. And then this man now have to try to defend his character because some strange person is claiming, you know, just for the hatred of Kenya. Or someone going to his restaurant, you know, that's been out for years. He's been doing great way before there was a Kenya Moore. But because of the hatred and people trying to, you know, stir up drama, going to his restaurant, doing something funny, and then recording something and saying, oh, by the way, don't come to Kenya Moore husband restaurant because I was just here and the day A, B, and C. Whereas before there was a Kenya Moore, his restaurant been doing just fine, doing very well. There's amazing reviews out there about his business, nothing negative, you know what I'm saying? But that's my point. So I don't blame the lady because, whoo, that was a lot, Shamea. That was a mouthful. Shamea and the lies now. She couldn't even directly look into the camera and tell that story with confidence. Regardless of if she was embarrassed or nervous, she lies too. And the show used her as a pet all the time. You could clearly see on that trip where people were saying, oh, Kenya was rude and whatever. When they got to the table, Kenya apologized and said, let's leave it there, talk another time. She insisted to carry the conversation because she was hoping that Kenya would act the fool at the table because that's what production was looking for. And what Kenya did was she got up and she left. What Kenya should have done in the first place when Shamea called her was to, hey Shamea, we're over here, we're busy right now, well, yes, the address, and call it a day. But behind the scenes, Kenya said producers were trying it all day, and that's why she just blew up. This is the same woman who producers used and pointed in the direction of the product, okay, the display. Kenya Moore had products in goodie bags, real, actual Moore hair care, who wanted to be on TV so bad, and not just like oh, I'm doing sideline reporting here and there. I'm talking about want to be on the show so bad that couldn't say to the producers, listen man, this is another black woman, okay, on the come up, creating a business. This is her first show. Can I do something else as it relates to drama? But no, she's the one that walked in there and drank the display bottle water and sat there and said Kenya Moore was selling water. And in as much as people are not stupid enough to believe that this woman is selling water, and salons and businesses would take her products knowing that it's water, a lot of kids watch the show. Social media is influenced a lot based on lies. That's why people can believe that this beautiful woman can get and keep her husband and be married. For some odd reason, she had to rent someone based on a lie. So there are still people on the Kenya Moore page today asking her, why are you selling water? Why are you still going to these places selling water? Even though it's as stupid as it sounds, she actually hurt Kenya Moore brand by doing that. So I'm not here for Shamea either. Choose to do in his life, that's between him and Cynthia. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just over it. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here, my Vina loves. I'm wishing you all an amazing day. Remember to always have the God bless attitude, which is being positive at all times and seeing the good in every situation. Have a great day, guys. God bless.